stop worrying and let God lead you. There is a truth that hums through the bones of every living soul, a truth older than time and yet fresh as the morning sun. You cannot control every turn of the road, nor can you tie the winds with your anxious hands. Worry sits heavy on the chest, pressing down dreams, whispering fears, and dimming the fire of your spirit. But when you choose to release that burden and open your palms to the sky, you allow a power greater than you to take hold of the wheel. Worry is a burden that steals peace but solves nothing. It clings to the mind like a shadow, creeping into the quiet hours of the night and disturbing the stillness of the morning. It is a thief, subtle and persistent, slipping into our thoughts and robbing us of rest, of joy, of clarity. It promises solutions but never delivers. It whispers that if we think hard enough, replay every possibility, examine every angle, then somehow we can prevent the pain of tomorrow. Yet, tomorrow has not arrived, and today is already fading, while we stand paralyzed in the prison of what-ifs. Worry bends the back of the strongest person, making giants feel small and the brave feel powerless. It drains energy, it clouds judgment, and it builds storms in skies that might have otherwise stayed clear. A person consumed by worry is like a bird with clipped wings, longing for the open air, but unable to rise. It is not that life becomes easier without challenges. It never does. But when worry rules the heart, even the smallest challenge feels like a mountain too high to climb. There is a weight in worry that is heavier than the trials themselves. A problem faced with courage feels lighter than a problem magnified through fear. Think of how many times you have worried about something that never came to pass. How many hours you spent rehearsing pain that never arrived. How many nights you stayed awake imagining disasters that never dared to knock on your door. Each of those hours was stolen from you, and they will not return. That is the cruelty of worry. It steals from your present, yet offers nothing useful for your future. To live with worry is to carry baggage you were never meant to hold. Imagine walking a long road, the sun beating down on you, your shoulders aching, your breath short, because you refuse to set down the load you carry. Someone walks beside you, offering to lift the weight, but you clutch it tightly, afraid of what might happen if you let go. That is what worry does. It convinces you that carrying the burden is necessary, when in truth, release is the only way to move freely. Peace is a gift that is always within reach, but worry blinds you from seeing it. Peace does not come from everything being perfect, from every answer being known, or every challenge being solved. Peace comes from trust, from the quiet surrender that says, I will not let fear write my story. It is the choice to step forward even when you cannot see the whole path. The decision to breathe deeply even when the winds howl. When you trade worry for peace, you do not change the circumstance, but you change your posture within it. You rise taller, you walk lighter, you live fuller. Worry is not only useless, it is destructive. It harms the body, unsettling the heart and tightening the chest. It clouds the mind until wisdom feels far away. It drains relationships because a spirit heavy with worry struggles to be present with others. It creates barriers between you and joy, between you and hope, between you and the divine calm that waits for you when you release control. To worry is to let fear sit on the throne of your life, dictating your actions and your outlook. But there is another way. You can refuse to give worry the keys to your mind. You can choose to lay down the burden, to stop rehearsing tragedies that may never come, to stop feeding the hunger of fear with your energy and attention. Every time you feel the pull of anxiety, you can remind yourself that worry has never solved a single problem. Not one. Action solves problems, faith solves problems, patience solves problems, love solves problems. Worry only multiplies them in your imagination, until you are too weary to face the truth with strength. To live beyond worry is not to live without care. It is to live with trust. It is to believe that even in hardship, even in uncertainty, there is a purpose unfolding. It is to recognize that your strength grows not from holding everything together, but from learning how to let go. Worry would have you believe that release is weakness, but in truth, release is courage. It is saying, I will not be owned by fear. I will not be ruled by the unknown. I will live fully in the present, and I will trust the path as it unfolds. Worry is a burden that steals peace but solves nothing. So do not let it steal another hour, another dream, another night of rest. Your peace is too precious. Your joy is too sacred. And your life is too short to be wasted in chains you were never meant to wear. Control is an illusion. Life flows according to a greater design. We spend so much of our time trying to orchestrate every step, every decision, every moment, believing that if we just manage everything perfectly, we can avoid pain, secure success, and guarantee the outcome we desire. Yet life has a way of reminding us that we are not the architects of every detail. We cannot command the seasons to change. We cannot tell the sun when to rise or the waves when to calm. We cannot control the heartbeats of those we love, nor can we dictate the twists and turns that tomorrow will bring. The more we cling to the illusion of control, the heavier the disappointment when life refuses to obey our demands. There is a larger rhythm guiding the universe, one we cannot fully see, but one that shapes everything around us. Just as rivers carve their own paths, winding and bending in ways no map could predict, so too do our lives unfold with bends and turns that surprise us. The human spirit is restless when it tries to master what was never meant to be mastered. We plan, we strategize, we predict, and still storms come without warning. Still opportunities appear where we least expect. Still endings and beginnings arrive on their own schedule, untouched by our calendars. Control is the mask we wear to quiet our fears, but beneath the mask lies the truth. We are not in charge of everything. And that is not weakness. It is freedom. Think of the flowers in the field. They do not control the rain, nor do they command the sunshine, yet they grow in their appointed time. The ocean does not control the moon, yet it rises and falls with its pull. Birds do not order the wind, but they ride upon it with grace. In the same way, our lives are held within a greater design, woven with intention and care by hands unseen. We are invited not to control but to participate, to walk in alignment rather than resistance. When you believe you must control everything, you begin to live in fear. You fear failure, so you overwork. You fear loss, so you cling tightly. You fear the unknown, so you refuse to step forward. And, in doing so, you shrink the space for miracles to enter. Control creates walls, but surrender builds doors. When you accept that you are not the sole author of your life, you open yourself to the mystery and wonder of a story bigger than you could ever write alone. The greatest blessings often arrive unplanned. The most profound lessons are often found in detours. The people who change us, the opportunities that shape us, the moments that awaken us, they rarely come from our meticulous planning. They come from the unseen flow of life, from the greater design unfolding step by step. To acknowledge this is not to abandon responsibility, but to walk with humility, to understand that your effort matters, but it is never the whole picture. You plant the seed, but you cannot force the harvest. You steer the boat, but you cannot command the tide. When you release the illusion of control, you discover a new kind of peace. You learn to do your part faithfully and then to rest in trust. You act with courage, but refuse to carry the weight of outcomes that are beyond your reach. You learn to embrace uncertainty not as an enemy, but as a companion on the journey. Life will not reveal all its secrets to you in advance, and that is by design. If you knew every trial before it came, you would never find the strength hidden within it. If you knew every joy in advance, you would lose the wonder of surprise. Letting go of control does not mean living without direction. It means living with openness. It means recognizing that while you hold the pen, the ink is provided by something greater. It means that your plans matter, but they must bend when a higher plan calls. The path is not always straight, but each twist has meaning. Each detour has a lesson. Each delay has purpose. Control is an illusion. Life flows according to a greater design. To fight against that flow is to exhaust yourself in futility, but to trust it is to find rest. The river carries you forward, whether you thrash against it or surrender to its current. The choice is yours. Live weary with the false promise of control, or live free in the assurance that there is a greater hand guiding you. You are not lost. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where you need to be, carried in the current of a design far wiser than your own. Storms and trials will come, but faith carries you through them. Life has never promised to be gentle at every turn. The sky does not always stay clear, and the road is not always smooth. Storms rise suddenly, often without warning, and they test the strength of every soul who walks under them. They shake the ground we thought was stable. They darken the light we thought was certain. And they bring questions that can shake even the strongest faith. Yet within those very storms lies the invitation to discover that you are not as fragile as you once believed, and that faith is not merely a word spoken in peace, but a power proven in struggle. When the winds howl and the rains pour, the instinct is to fear, to hide, to believe you will be swept away. The storm speaks loudly, telling you that you are alone, that you are weak, that this trial will be your end. But faith rises with a different voice. Faith says you are not abandoned even when the night is long. Faith says there is a hand steadying you even when your own strength is trembling. Faith does not remove the storm, but it transforms how you stand within it. Instead of collapsing under the weight of fear, you are anchored in hope. Instead of drowning in despair, you are lifted by trust. Every storm has two sides, the destruction it threatens and the growth it produces. Without storms, roots would never grow deeper. Without trials, strength would never be tested. Without hardship, character would never be refined. It is through the storm that you learn resilience. It is through the storm that you learn endurance. And it is through the storm that you learn what it truly means to lean not on your own understanding, but on a power greater than yourself. Trials may wound, but they also teach. They may strip away comfort, but they reveal courage. They may shake your plans, but they awaken your purpose. Faith is not about ignoring the storm. It is about standing tall in the middle of it. It is about declaring peace in your spirit, even when the world around you is raging. It is about trusting that no storm lasts forever, that every night eventually yields to dawn, and that even broken branches can sprout new life in time. Faith reminds you that storms are not the end of your story. They are chapters that shape the ending into something more beautiful than you imagine. Think of the sailor at sea. He cannot command the storm to cease, but he can trust the compass that guides him and the anchor that holds him. In the same way, you cannot always stop the troubles of life, but you can hold firm to faith as your anchor. It steadies you when everything else sways. It keeps you from drifting into despair. And even when you cannot see the shore, faith tells you the shore is still there. Storms also reveal what is truly important. They strip away the unnecessary, leaving you to see what matters most. A trial can shift your perspective, reminding you that possessions can be lost, but peace is priceless, that plans can fail, but hope is unshakable, that people may leave, but divine love never does. The storm forces you to separate the temporary from the eternal, and in that clarity, your heart grows wiser, your spirit grows stronger, and your path grows clearer. The beauty of faith is that it not only carries you through the storm, but it transforms you by the journey. When you emerge from the trial, you are not the same as you were before. You are stronger, braver, and more compassionate. You carry scars, yes, but they are the proof of survival. They are the reminders that what once threatened to break you has instead built you. Faith makes survivors out of sufferers, victors out of victims, and testimonies out of trials. Storms and trials will come, but faith carries you through them. And when you look back, you will see that every dark cloud, every raging wind, every tear you shed was not wasted. They shaped you, they refined you. They revealed the depth of your courage and the power of your trust. The storm did not define you. It only revealed that you were carried through by something far greater than the storm itself. Letting go of anxiety makes space for hope and miracles. Anxiety crowds the heart like an uninvited guest, filling every corner with noise and clutter until there is little room left for peace. It spins endless cycles of worry, convincing you that if you replay every possibility, if you rehearse every failure, if you imagine every disaster, then somehow you can protect yourself from harm. But the truth is, anxiety adds nothing of value. It drains the mind, it exhausts the body, and it clouds the spirit. It keeps you locked in yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's fears, leaving no room for the quiet beauty of the present moment. Hope, however, needs space to grow. It does not flourish in a crowded heart. It needs openness, trust, and stillness. When anxiety is allowed to dominate, hope is suffocated, unable to breathe under the heavy blanket of fear. Yet, the moment you decide to release the anxious grip, you create a clearing within your soul. In that clearing, hope takes root. Hope whispers that tomorrow can be brighter than today. Hope assures you that what is broken can be mended, what is delayed can still arrive, what feels lost can be restored. Hope is the sunlight that breaks through after a long night, but it cannot be seen when anxiety builds walls around your vision. Letting go of anxiety is not pretending that problems do not exist. It is choosing not to let fear rule over them. It is acknowledging that while challenges are real, they are not the whole story. You release the idea that you must control every outcome and instead open yourself to the possibility that something greater is at work. Anxiety shrinks your vision to only see obstacles, but trust allows you to see opportunities hidden in those very obstacles. In that space, miracles find a way in. Miracles rarely come where anxiety reigns, because anxiety blocks the door of expectation. When your mind is filled with fear, you struggle to recognize blessings even when they arrive. Anxiety convinces you that good things cannot happen, so when they do, you call them coincidence or overlook them entirely. But when you let go of anxiety, your eyes open to the extraordinary in the ordinary. A small kindness becomes a miracle. A timely word becomes a miracle. A door that opens just when you thought you had reached a dead end becomes a miracle. Hope makes you ready to see them, and faith makes you ready to receive them. The act of letting go is not weakness, it is strength. It takes courage to release what has wrapped itself tightly around your heart. Anxiety is persuasive. It convinces you that holding on keeps you safe, but in truth it keeps you trapped. Strength is found in saying, "I will not allow fear to have the loudest voice. I will not give anxiety the keys to my peace. I choose to create space for something better." Each time you release fear, you make room for trust. Each time you set down worry, you make room for joy. Each time you loosen the grip of anxiety, you make room for miracles to enter. Imagine a clenched fist. As long as it is tight, nothing can be placed in it. No gift, no blessing, no new possibility. But the moment it opens, it becomes ready to receive. In the same way, a heart clenched by anxiety cannot receive the blessings waiting to be given. Only when it opens in trust and hope does it become a vessel for peace, for healing, for miracles. Letting go of anxiety also changes the way you carry yourself through life. You begin to walk lighter, no longer hunched under the weight of endless fears. You breathe deeper, no longer gasping under the pressure of imagined catastrophes. You smile easier because hope shines through your countenance. Others notice it too. A life unburdened by anxiety becomes an inspiration to those still trapped in its grip. Your peace becomes a testimony, your hope becomes contagious, and your very presence becomes a reminder that freedom is possible. Letting go of anxiety makes space for hope and miracles. It opens your eyes to beauty, your heart to joy, and your spirit to peace. It invites blessings to enter and reminds you that even in the midst of uncertainty, goodness is possible, healing is possible, restoration is possible. When you release the fear that chains you, you discover the vast space within you that was always meant for light, for love, for faith, and for miracles that change everything.